2 Polar Pops until you know it's serious. This is Voltage Mountain Dew. This is Circle K's new slushie, Strawberry Guava. Yes. Hi. I'm Tomato Basil Girl. I speak with tomatoes. This is my henchman. He's neither a tomato or basil, but he's still cute. And I wanted to do a physical media haul. So if you don't know, I am a big avid collector of physical media. I've been collecting, to me, physical media, when I think physical media, I think DVDs. That's like my go-to. I think everyone has a different like go-to. Obviously, physical media is more than DVDs. It's also books and CDs and vinyls and zines. Zines or zines? What do you say? I say zines. It's zines. It's a bunch of magazines. It's a bunch of things. I think DVDs. So I have been collecting, but if you know, that's my bookshelf back there. I've been reading on and off since the 4th grade. I recently got back into reading this year. I've read 22 books so far. It's currently April 7th. Yeah. Yeah, that's... Yeah. 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 That's like 5 books per month. I actually don't have any books in this. Here's the thing about owning physical books. To me, physical media will always be superior. I don't like it. I have some of the streaming services just because my family has them, but like, I think it'd take a lot out of me to like, once I start getting money, unemployed, once I start getting money to like actually spend my money on a streaming service. It depends. There are like, I don't love streaming services like politically, but I feel like there are some like good things, like certain shows you can't really find. I still don't love them. But however, I really love DVDs and stuff. So, but with books, it's harder because I'm an audiobook girly, and if you're like audiobooks aren't reading, that's how I feel about that. I have nothing good to say to you. Nothing good to say to you. Absolutely nothing. So if you believe in that, go away. But if you're like audiobooks aren't reading, go away forever. But I'm an audiobook girly, and I know some people love like reading a book from the library or an ebook or an audiobook and then buying the physical book. Listen, if I had tons of money, I would do that. The real reason I don't own more books is because my dog is barking at my dad. Yeah, the simple reason I don't own more books is because I'm broke. And if I'm the type, I have a really, it's the consumerism in me. It's the consumerism demon. And you know, we all have demons, and one of mine is consumerism. I personally, and this is just me, would rather spend like money on like 4 things and get 4 things than spend something on like either like this like $20 on 4 things over $20 on one thing. Even if I like the one thing better, that is easy. So like, you know, collecting DVDs is a lot cheaper than collecting books usually. I would love to have more of a book collection. I also would say I think it's a myth that physical media is like super hard. I do think it does take up space, but like everything takes up space. I think it's like weird that people act like only physical media takes up space. However, I do think DVDs are more convenient to store. And oh my god. So I personally only really buy DVDs. I'm not a big CD girl because CDs are so much harder to thrift. It's so much harder to thrift a good CD. I'm not a vinyl girl. So I like DVDs. So I love books, but again, I don't read a lot of physical books. And the library exists. And if like I'd rather own a DVD than own a book. That's my opinion. Again, that's coming from somebody who's read 22 books this year. Love people who read physical books. Love people who have a same collection. I also feel though like it does take more time to read a book, and I personally, this is my personal opinion, think it's absolutely ridiculous to have a TBR, like a physical TBR, over like 50 books. There are exceptions, you know, if you have like a community library in your home, that's different. Or like if you are an influencer and are constantly being sent arcs and stuff, that's different. But I think, like, I personally think out of all the things you could be spending your money on, books are like the least problematic. But I still think it's insane to like have like 200 books in your physical TBR and you've maybe read, you own 300 books, you've maybe read 25. I think that's insane. And that's just my opinion. And you're allowed to disagree. That's crisp. I love soda because it's crisp. But I also will drink flat watered down soda. I'm diseased. Anyways, so this is basically majority DVDs I have. Yeah, it's basically majority DVDs. There's like, I won't say. I do hate when influencers don't say something, but I love not saying something. I love keeping things secret. So you'll see in a bit, but for majority, it's just DVDs. I did buy a book somewhat recently. I bought Pucking Around, and I was like, this will be a fun, cute romance to get back into physical reading, and it's 700 pages. Why didn't I still would have bought it, honestly, but like, why didn't I check if it was 700 pages? Because I sometimes you knock and nobody's there. So that's my defense. I just didn't want to bring it. I feel like I've talked about that book so much, and I've read like one page. So I'm burnt out. So I need a break. But everything else, there's technically three. There's the library categories, and I'm first gonna show you the DVDs I'm renting, because I feel like that's still fun to like show. I love library hauls, love them. I used to be, again, weird, the consumerism rat in me used to be like, oh, I only like hauls when like they own the thing. I'm not like that anymore. I love a library haul. Genuinely, I love seeing like what other libraries carry and stuff. I think it's very fun. But what the hell? I do really love a library haul. So I'm going to show you what I have rented out from my local library, and then I'm going to see what I bought from my local library. Also, somebody on my TikTok commented how I pronounce library. The world keeps spinning. I support my library, you don't. So, anyways, my library, some libraries have this, some don't. Bookstores, mine does, so I'm always shopping at the bookstore. So I got some things from the bookstore, and then the last is the stuff I've gotten from Half Price Books, which is my favorite bookstore. I'd love to find a bookstore that's like local to Arizona. Half Price Books isn't local, it's in other states, but it's not in every state. It's like a Books A Million. I don't have Books A Million here. I'm so mad I don't. But it's like a Books A Million. I love Half Price Books. It's my favorite bookstore ever. I'm not a Barnes & Noble girly. I think it's way too expensive. I like it. I call like Half Price Books cheating, because it's not like it is thrifting, but it's not like real, like in the name of God thrifting, where it's like you have to search and pray. You can pretty much, it's very curated, and you can also like request stuff. Not some, like, more books, like you can special order something, but you can also be like, I want this DVD. Do you guys have this in your other areas? They'll look it up and see, and they can like bring it from other states. So it's like cheating thrifting. Another thrifted bookstore that is local is Bookman's, but it's farther away from me, and it's also, I love Bookman's. I think it's incredibly fun. I think they have an amazing DVD section. I do think they're too expensive. Half Price Books has really decently priced DVDs. I will try to say prices for most of this. The cheapest prices I've ever found for DVDs and books is my local library bookstore, because they're like $1. DVDs are $1 sometimes, at most $3. So, but again, that's like honest to God thrifting. Like, you just go in, and even that's a little curated because it's only media. I do think Bookman's is like too expensive, but I don't care. I love it. But I think they have a terrible book selection. I do not think they have good book selection, which is funny because they're called Bookmans. That's no hate to Bookmans. I love Bookmans, but Hopper's books, you know, they have my heart. So, let's start off with what I'm renting. So, I have, if you don't know, I'm in my Scooby-Doo era. I have 5 Scooby-Doo movies and then one TV show I'm currently watching, and then 1 DVD is, you'll see. So, listen, here's the thing. When I'm reading a book, I don't even want to hear of a teenager. If you're under the age of 18, which I know is technically still a teenager, but like if you're under the age of 18, I'm 19. I don't want to hear about you. I don't dislike YA. I just dislike teenagers in my story, and that is a complete personal preference. I don't think you're weird if you like teenagers in your story. The only time I think it's weird is if the teenagers do adult things. Not like adult things like, you know, drugs. I don't really care. But like adult things that, like, you know, I don't like that. I don't like that in anything. In anything. And that's I'm not gonna get too into it, but that's like a opinion I really developed recently, where I'm like, I don't like when people, I do think there's like ways you can do it that's like tasteful, but I really don't enjoy, like, I don't want to say too much because this is my public YouTube account and I do want to be employed. I have nothing against adult content in my book. I frankly love it. I love it. I don't want teenagers to be involved ever. So I don't, and I also just don't enjoy like children's books. The closest I'll get is The Hunger Games, which is like, girl, I love The Hunger Games. I've read the trilogy 4 times. I reread it recently. Love it. I do think I'd be more open to like other YA, and I do really want to read Gregor of the Overlander. I think that's what it's called, the other Suzanne Collin dystopian series. Hold on. My sister and her friend are talking. They're being really annoying. Sorry. Colby, stop licking yourself. Colby never listens. For my books, I don't want to really hear about teenagers. And it's not only like I don't want to hear teenagers in like Colby adult situations. I also just like don't want to read about children's books. It's not something I'm interested in. The most I'll do is YA, but like the main characters are adults. I'll do that. That's the most I'll do. But for film and TV, I love children's media. It's my favorite. It's my favorite media. Don't ask me why. I'm not saying like I'm the only one who feels this way, but I've never heard of anybody like having such polar opposites. So my library, I have a love-hate relationship with my library's DVD selection. On one hand, I think they have a really expansive DVD collection, and I think they have some really unique things. They have I Saw the TV Glow on Blu-ray, which I thought was really cool. I thought that was really cool. I feel like they have really like good at like new movies, like movies that recently come out. They'll have like 4 copies of like a 2025 movie. Colby, he just doesn't listen. He's a bad dog. I love him. Bad dog. He was free, if you don't know. If you never had a free dog, girl. Anyways, not the point. So I'm looking around at my library DVD. They have really good options. They're just not curated to me. And so I'm looking around, like, I want to pick out a movie. Then I go to the kids section. I pick out 5 movies. No, 5. 3. 3 movies. Now he wants out. He begs to be let out, and then when I'm letting him out, he's looking at me like I'm abandoning him. Why are pit bulls so needy? Genuinely, why? Because they're babies, that's why. Anyways, I find things. So, I've watched all of Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated, and I may or may not be rewatching it, because I'm back in my Scooby-Doo era. So, what started this out was like, I saw some Scooby-Doo movies, like, that'd be fun, and one of the ones I picked out was Scooby-Doo and the Loch Ness Monster. that is the perfect movie. I could go on for hours how much I loved it. Here's the thing, Scooby-Doo movies, I love Scooby-Doo, but Scooby-Doo can be very hit or miss because I'm not a big fan of old animation. It freaks me out. I don't like it, and also the older ones are not nearly as funny. But the one I watched, Scooby-Doo Lock and Monster, came out in 2004, which is old, but it was really nicely animated. It was funny. I really loved it. So now I'm on a Scooby-Doo kick. So I'm going to show you the ones I got originally, and then I literally did a deep dive and like saw all the Scooby-Doo stuff my library has, because you can just search it up like on the library website, and I got some more. So okay, so these are, besides Loch Ness Monster, these are the two I got from, I should watch these soon. I can also like extend my, but I got a classic Scooby-Doo monster, Scooby-Doo Zombie Island. I am nervous about this one because it is so old, but it's a classic. I have to watch it, and I'm gonna want to watch it on DVD. So I got that. And then I got Batman and the Brave Bold. There's another Scooby-Doo Batman movie, which I actually saw at Half Price Books. I just got back from Half Price Books. That's why we're doing the Half Price Books haul last, because I'm most excited for it. But I don't know. I saw this. I was like, I'll get it. I want to watch all the Scooby-Doo Batman stuff because I think it's hilarious. Okay, this is the one I'm most nervous for. It looks new. I don't know. I don't... Looking at... maybe it's not new. I don't know. When was this made? Does it say? It never says. I really need to start searching this up before I... Okay, it's Scooby-Doo Mask of the Black Falcon. Here's the thing. It doesn't show Velma, Daphne, or Fred on this, so if it doesn't have them, I'm not watching it. But Shaggy and Scooby are actually my least favorite Scooby-Doo characters. I hate them. Especially Mystery Incorporated. I hate them. So, that's my opinion. You're allowed to disagree. But I'm nervous about this one, but I'm willing. We'll see if I get around to it. And then... so Scooby-Doo just does like weird-ass collaborations. They did a Batman. They did one with the band Kiss. And they've also done a couple with WrestleMania, which I think I'm going to watch this one today. It's Speed Demon. I'm very curious about this one. Very excited. If you don't know anything about WrestleMania, I can't if you are curious, if you hear what I'm saying and you're like, that's not true at all, nobody's gonna watch this, but I can send you a video by Kenny JD. She's an amazing YouTuber, and she did a very well-written video, well-made video about WE and how, like, insane they are. So, I don't think I'd ever purchase these first. I would like to purchase them. I want to purchase as many Scooby-Doo movies as possible. I don't have a single Scooby-Doo movie in my collection, like, my personal collection, which is devastating. But anyways, but, I am willing to, like, watch these, but it is kind of, like, weird, because the WrestleMania lore goes crazy. But anyways, it's WrestleMania Mystery, and it has John Cena in it, and then Speed Demon. I'm very excited about both of these. And then the two other DVDs I have that are non-Scooby-Doo, I have Princess and the Frog. This will be funny in a minute. And I also have Yellow Jackets. I am currently watching Yellow Jackets. I'm going through it very slowly. I started watching it through this DVD, and then I started watching it illegally because I don't have Paramount Plus. Don't come for me. And I was like, okay, Paramount, illegal websites are really annoying. So I got this. I don't like it, but it's not because it's bad. It's just because I don't like horror. However, I am so, like, intrigued with the characters. They're all fucking terrible. They all piss me up, and I'm so intrigued with the characters. Oh, you know what? Whatever. So I am curious about this one. Okay. Now for things I've bought and things things I bought. Let's start with the library bookstore. Okay. I am gonna jump scare you. So if you get scared, some people, this won't scare them. Even if they've seen the movie, it won't scare them. To me, for a long time, hearing the name of this movie would invoke so much fear into me. I've watched it 3 times. Here's the thing. Most of my DVDs I buy, I don't like buying horror movies usually because I'm like, I don't want to I don't want to watch that. I don't want to own that. I like cozy DVDs. I love children's media. This was my trophy. I've always wanted this on DVD. 1, so I could traumatize people. And 2, so I can have a trophy. So, just... Okay, that's all. We're done. We're done. I'm going back to hiding it. I don't want to see it anymore. I don't want anything to do with it. I found it. I was like, this is incredibly beautiful. I think about this movie every day. It's changed me as a woman. I don't want to think about it anymore. So that's all I'll say on that. That's all I'll say on that. Next. I got Into the Woods. I know a lot. I've never listened to the actual musical, but I've watched this. I know a lot of people don't like it, which is funny because I loved it as a kid. Because you watch anything as a kid and you're like, this is incredibly well written and beautiful. And then when you're an adult, you like go on a Reddit forum and everybody's like, that was the worst movie I've ever seen. Or more realistically for me, your sister's like, that's the worst movie ever written, by the way. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. Thank you for telling me. I liked it. I thought it was fun. So I got, also, I was like, there are so many people. Why is my mom calling? Sorry, my mother called. Okay. Yeah, I was so surprised. James Gordon is in here. Anna Kendrick. Johnny Depp. I was like, what? I don't really like any of those. I don't mind Anna Kendrick. The other two, though, you know, which is funny because, like, Johnny Depp, I think, is, like, actually a terrible person, and James Gordon is just kind of annoying, so. Okay. Anyways, the other 2 things I got are incredible. So, if you don't know, I love children's media, and my favorite children's, like, what's series? Series is for books. What's the franchise? Franchise? Okay, my favorite franchise is the Ice Age movies, purely because Ice Age Dawn of the Dinosaur is my favorite movie ever. I love it so much. So I'm determined to collect like every single Ice Age DVD I can find. And at first, I just thought that meant, like, the original, like, 6 movies. And then I realized there was, like, special editions. So there's the Christmas edition, which I do have. There's the Easter edition, which I really want. And then I was, like... Then I saw this. And I was like, okay, I guess I'm just getting, like, special editions now. This is Ice Age Super Cool Edition. I really need to, like, explore this. All I know about it is that it has a bunch of bonus features, which I'm incredibly excited about. I think it looks cool. And then, yeah, you pop the inside. It has, oh my god, guys. I just got us tickets to Ice Age 2. I think this is incredibly cool. Yeah, tickets to Ice Age 2, which is very cool. We have this, which has all the scenes, which I do plan to use these as wall art. And then we have the first disc and second disc. If you don't know, yeah, I love the Ice Age movies. Diego is my favorite, and it is because I'm attracted to him. I don't have time to unpack that. Yeah, I love these movies. I was very excited to get these. And then the next thing, okay, here's the thing. Every teenage girl who grew up with a father, grew up with men in her life, older men, has a TV show that is, like, objectively for 40-year-old men that they've, like, imprinted on. And, you know, it can be, there's so many different types of genders to this, so many different genres, you know, so many fonts, flavors, whatever you want to say, to this. But for me, my TV shows are, like, adult comedies. And originally it was South Park. South Park is a terrible show. They say so many terrible things, and truly, if you want to cancel every single person who's ever watched an episode of South Park, I wouldn't blame you. However, the first 10 seasons I've watched twice, and I love them, except for all the terrible stuff, but there are some really good episodes. So I do plan to get the first 10 seasons on DVD. It's $50. I don't like giving money to Trey and Matt. I'm willing to do it once, so I don't have to stream them. Okay? But of recently, like South Park was the only adult comedy I was like really into. I also had a strange thing with Rick and Morty, but I don't consider Rick and Morty as a dad TV show because Rick and Morty, my dad never watched Rick and Morty, and like Rick and Morty's younger than I feel like for my dad's age range. But the other really popular one is Family Guy. A lot of teen girls love Family Guy. I hate it. I think it's so trash. I don't think it's funny at all. I think it's really annoying. However, American Dad, yeah, bitch, that's hilarious. So I kind of am willing, I'm thinking about watching American Dad. And so I got the second season on DVD, and I want to watch it. And that's going to make me decide if I'm actually going to watch it. Because Roger's fucking hilarious, and I think it's so much funnier than Family Guy. However, I will say, if you want an adult comedy that's not problematic, Bob's Burgers is one of the best shows ever written. I haven't watched all the seasons. I've watched like season 1 like so many times. The episode, it's one of the earliest episodes where they convince the guidance counselor that their dad died in the walls, and Bob is going insane because he's trapped in the walls. That's cinematic. I love that show. So, I love that show. But, Bob's Burgers is incredible. If you want to watch something that's like, if you want a dad comedy that like is comforting and doesn't say racist shit 24/7, watch Bob's Burgers. That's all I have to say. Anyways, the next two things these are the only non-DVD things. So, I will show you. Two of them I've gotten like very recently, and the other one I've had for a while. I just wanted to include it because I think it's hilarious, and I want to show you like you can get really fun stuff at the bookstore. So the first two things are Harley Quinn comics. These are from 2015. I have a whole TikTok at Tomato Based Girl on TikTok that it just shows this. They're insane. They're so cool. I love them so much. Now, you're not ready for the next one. The next one, when I tell you, it's like the most beautiful comic I really one day want to start a comic wall. Listen, I don't love comics like these that are like super thin and have like they're half advertisement. Don't love them for like actual reading, so I don't collect them unless they're super cheap. But the nice thing is they're usually like super cheap and they have really fun covers. I prefer comic books, not comics. But if it's cheap, it's cheap. And I was so surprised to see these. Look how beautiful this one is. I really want this on my wall. Doesn't that look stunning? So beautiful. So beautiful. And then the next thing I've had for a long time. It's just really fun. I haven't fully gone through it yet. But it's just really cute. Yeah, it's a Wildcats magazine, and you just find such fun stuff at the bookstore, and it brings me such look at this. Where else are you gonna find this? Like, physical media is so much fun. Like, come on, you don't have joy and whimsy like I do. You don't have joy and whimsy like I do. You know. Oh. I have one more. Oh no, it's Hereditary. Awesome. Okay. Lastly, these are from two separate Happers book strips. The first one, there's only one in the first strip. I got the L Word, season 1. I don't know when I'm gonna get around to watching this, but I do want to, like, I've been looking to read more sapphic books because it's so easy to find male-on-male books. Like, there's like a million, and then there's like 2 sapphic books, and like nobody talks about them. So I've been on the hunt to read more sapphic books, but I would like to. Again, I don't. It's unfortunate that in children's media there's not a lot of queer anything, especially older children's media, but I also don't watch children's media for like romance. Not to say you can only have gay people if it's romantic. That's not true. But when I'm reading sapphic books, I'm reading them because I want romance, but I was like, this could be fun. So I got season 1. I was like debating between season 1 and 2, but I just got season 1 just to like see, just to try it out. I am excited. I don't know when I'm gonna get around to this. Here's the thing. I have been craving a teen drama. I actually, like, for a whole day was trying so hard to find a teen drama, which I technically am watching a teen drama right now because I'm watching Yellow Jackets. I'm watching Yellow Jackets, Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated, and TMNT 2012. Those are the 3 TV shows I'm watching currently. But I was like trying so hard to find a teen drama, and then I was like, okay, I'll just start watching Yellow Jackets again. But again, I don't love teen dramas because I don't love teen sexualization, which basically every single teen drama has, which is like really weird and creepy, you know? That's weird. But I was craving a teen drama. My only problem with teen dramas is they are so, like, stretched out, in my opinion. There's like 20 episodes per season. There's 7 seasons. Every single episode is 40 minutes. I'm like, that's too much content. That's too much. But I did think it'd be fun to, like, slowly work my way through a really long teen drama. I'm pretty sure the show got canceled, though, which is upsetting. But if I like season 1, I like season 1. It can literally just be I watch season 1 every couple of years. And also, they're lesbians. They're early 2000 lesbians. So, like, you know. Okay. Here, I got 3 movies and 1 season of a TV show. So here is everything I got. I got Princess and the Frog. You're like, didn't you rent Princess and the Frog? I don't care. I wanted Princess and the Frog on DVD forever. And my mom was buying. So it's like, usually I'm like, Princess and the Frog, I can't find it for super cheap. I got it. My mom was buying, so you know what? Next, I got The Amazing Spider-Man. I don't like Marvel movies. I love The Amazing Spider-Man. And I also love The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Those are incredible movies. So I was really excited to get these. They're like one of the only superhero movies I like. So, excited about that. Yeah. I really love DreamWorks. They're probably my favorite animation studio. I really want to watch the King Julian show and the Penguins of Madagascar show. So this, I also want to collect like all the DreamWorks movies, so this felt necessary. Oh, prices. I think this was $7. $6.49, $6.49, $6. So, you know. And then lastly, I want to watch this show. I just, again, I'm in the middle of other shows, and I know I want to watch the show strictly on DVD. I think it'd be more fun, because it will make sense when you see the show, but I've seen not the prequel, this is more the sequel, you know. I've seen the original media, and I love it, and I own it all on DVD. And I had watched it previously, but I started rewatching it through library DVDs, and then I bought the actual DVDs, and I saw this, and I was like, you know what? So I got season 2 Legend of Korra. I haven't seen season 1. I haven't seen any Legend of Korra at all, but I do want to watch this, and I do want to watch it on DVD. And I was like, you know what? If I just get it on DVD, it will be nice to have in the future. And it was only $6, so I was like, you know what, whatever. It's actually never been unboxed, so we're gonna unbox it together. It was originally $16.99, so I think $6 is actually pretty decent. I need something to tear into this. That's way too long. Girl? Okay, I need a little bit of you. Okay. I'm curious if there's anything fun inside. It might not, but I'm also curious to see what the disc is like, so. And the disc are boring as fuck. Most anticlimactic unboxing ever. These are the discs. And then this is the little inside. Also, like, okay, I know Korra gets a lot of hate, and I do know I'm not gonna like Korra's show as much as I like Avatar. Avatar isn't even my favorite thing in the Avatar universe. Rise of Kyoshi is. I love Rise of Kyoshi. But, I will say, Korra's probably the prettiest Avatar character ever. Look at her. 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 She's gorgeous. She's Gorgina. So I am extremely excited to watch this. I don't think I'm gonna like it as much, but that's okay. You know, it's still fun. I really love the universe. I'm currently, but like not actively, making my way through the Avatar Chronicles series. I've read Ride of Kyoshi twice now, but I hadn't read it since like I was in the 8th grade, so I reread it, and I'm going to read Shadow of Kyoshi, I think is the second one. Only problem is they don't. I'm an audiobook girly, and they don't have it on audiobook at my library, so I'm gonna have to wait until I can afford to get a Libro FM account. Complete side note, I really wanted an Everand account because it's like $16, $16.99 for 3 audiobooks. I'm like, that's incredible. And I still might get an Everand account if I can afford both Libro FM and Everand. But Everand just doesn't have that good a selection. There's like 2 books I want that they don't have. So I think I'm gonna do Libro FM, and also Libro FM donates to a local bookstore. I don't know if Bookman's is on the list. If Bookman's is on the list, I'll do Bookman's. But if they don't have Bookman's, I'm gonna do Sunny. You know, oh my god. There's content creators called Couple of Goofs. They are 2 content creators, Felix, they them, Morgan, she her. They have a baby. They don't show the baby on the internet, which is one of the reasons I love them. And they have a friend named Lemon, and I don't know their pronouns. I know they're Uncle Lemon, but I don't know if they use he and pronouns, so I'm just going to use they, them. Lemon, they run a shop called Sunny's House, and in the shop, they have a bookstore. I forget what the bookstore's called, but if they don't have Bookman's on Libro FM, I'm just going to donate the proceeds to Sunny's House because I love Couple of Goofs. I love Morgan, I love Felix, and I'm sure Lemon is lovely, and they do amazing tattoos, and they look very sweet, so I'm gonna, and also I support trans queer businesses, even if they're not local to you. So I will be doing Libra FM, but the real decision, this is like completely off topic, but the real reason why I'm doing them is because they have the, Avatar Chronicles series, which I do want to read, and then they also have Jurassic Park, which I want to read so fucking bad. I try not to curse too much, but Jurassic Park has me passionate. Here's the thing, I was never a Jurassic Park girl. However, I was a dinosaur girl. My earliest hyperfixation, I'm not saying hyperfixation is like a buzz term, I have autism. My genuine earliest hyperfixation was dinosaurs. Dinosaurs, but I never watched any of the Jurassic Park movies. So the reason I want to read Jurassic Park so bad is Felix and Morgan, Couple of Goofs, did a video in 2024, which like I'm so upset they didn't do this video for 2025. I get why they didn't, because they did Vlogmas instead, but they did a video of like their least favorite and favorite books of the year, and both of them for their favorites put Jurassic Park, and Felix just has like really fun recommendations. Morgan doesn't read any of the books I like at all. She's a horror girl. I am not a horror girl at all, which is funny because like if you were to look at Morgan, you'd be like, that's a romance girl. It's an Emily Henry bitch. She's not. But Felix, I actually really love his recommendations. They read some weird ass books. Like truly there's something so special about like non-binary trans mask book taste, because it's not like boring like cis men, but it's just so fun. Like I really love it. I try to be diverse with my reading. I'm definitely a romance girl, and I'm also definitely a fantasy girl, but like every once in a while I love like a weird like boy autism book. I have both boy and girl autism because I'm gender fluid, and also because like I'm autistic. So I know it's weird, but like I like considering my things in the boy and girl autism. So like my boy autism is 2012 Ninja Turtles, and like my girl autism is Care Bears. You know, that's just me. That's just who I am. But they both like raved about Jurassic Park, and Felix also really raved about Gregor and the Overlander, Suzanne Collins series, which I'm now very interested in. But like they raved about Jurassic Park, and I'm genuinely, every time they talk about it, I'm like, I need to read that book, which is funny because like I never read anything at all close to Jurassic Park. It's not that I only read romance. I definitely like. The thing is, like, I only read books written by women. I've read one book written by a man. It was a comic. It was Dark Knights of Steel, which I loved. But I only read books written by women. So it's like it's a very like far right shift. Not far right in the bad way, but like, it's a very shift. And I want to read it so bad, and Everend doesn't have it. My library doesn't have it. So Libra, which is like the main reason I haven't been able. If my library had it, bitch, I'd put that on hold. I'd put that on hold 2 years ago. Like, oh my god, I want to read it so bad. But that's, yeah. I just needed to say that to somebody. Anyways, this is your sign to collect physical media. It's really fun, and it's really cheap. It's a really cheap hobby. Here's the thing. Everything does cost money. No matter what, you're gonna have to spend money, which is really scary. But, you can find hobbies that are, like, very sustainable. And, you can have a hobby that does involve spending money without spending a ridiculous amount of money and without, like, supporting evil corporations. I recommend thrifting most of your physical media. Obviously, like, a movie like Sinners, you're not going to be able to thrift Sinners. Maybe, I don't know. You might be magical. I don't know. But for the most part, you're not going to be able to thrift movies like that. And, like, that's fine. Especially because, like, some of those movies you want to give directly to the people who made it. But you can thrift a lot of really fun movies, either like cheating thrifting with like half price books and bookmints, or it's very curated, or you can just go to the local Goodwill and see what you find. Yeah, I found some really good finds. I was really excited. I like doing mini hauls on like Instagram and TikTok, so you can same username, you can follow me there for like mini hauls. But I do think it's fun to do like one big haul eventually. So if you're into that, I can do more of this. Anyways, that's all. Love you.